What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Horizon Forbidden West. In the last episode, we began this adventure once and for all, finally embarking upon this great sequel with Varl in tow, who is basically here to act as our little liaison in the tutorial because he doesn't quite understand how things work as much as our protagonist does, Aloy. So she's there just kind of to lead him along while also assisting that new player experience. And my gosh, that rock was out for blood. That was quite the glitch there. So speaking of that, I also should mention really quickly that this game, oh boy.
What is that?
Keep your guard up.
Yeah, we will do that. I want to mention before we jump into the next part, this game, and I have to do this every single time I start a Let's Play. I probably should have mentioned it in the last episode, but I'm mentioning it now, I guess at the start of the second. This game was not some exquisite technical masterpiece when it came out. It still actually has some issues, and I did this with Ori and the Will of the Wisps a couple years ago, and I'm doing it now. This game did not launch in the best state at all, and they're still doing a lot to patch this game and try to make it better. I should mention, I'm playing this on the PlayStation 5, and there are still a lot of noticeable issues here and there throughout the game. And any open world, I think, to some degree, you can expect there to be a level of instability and glitches. But this game had a few areas in which it was pretty extreme. So that is something to take note of if you're concerned about, you know, buying something that isn't in the best state. Especially if you're considering buying this game on PlayStation 4, I would hold off for quite some time. Maybe even wait for like a price drop or something. Wait for some more patches to come out. Don't instantly jump into this thinking that you're going to get a perfectly smooth experience, because it does still, even, what, 8 patches later, still has a fair few problems with progression. Not to mention there is a whole dialogue going in between the community and the game developers in terms of game balance and things like that, which we'll all get into much later on. But those are things for your consideration to take note of. All right. Let's jump over this ledge and get into stealth.
Careful. Don't want those things to call in some friends from underground. You take the left one. I'll deal with the one on the right.
Okay.
Okay, so stealth and tracking. What you're going to do is ready your focus. You're going to want to tag the critter that you're looking at, and then also highlight its track to see where it's going. You can see its path represented by the arrows, which are actually pointing this way. It walked back to this corner, but it is going to start to proceed over that way. Now, I'm going to use this opportunity to kind of move up here.
I can throw a rock to distract it.
And like she said, I can throw a rock if I so desire, so I'm actually going to do just that. And I'm going to try to toss it behind it like this. Alright, it still seems to be looking that way. I may not have thrown it beyond enough, but I will do my best. Oh, that's a little close for comfort. Okay, it's still scanning. If I can be very quiet here, we can get the silent strike. Do it! Boom. All right. Now that silent strike doing that much damage there. Do not get used to that. This game is not near as forgiving with the stealth kills as its predecessor was. In fact, it's not as forgiving with its combat in general. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we actually get into the combat proper, but just be aware, this game ramps up the difficulty significantly in several areas and also just makes things a lot more, I guess, not tedious, but certainly more. You certainly have to try a little bit more and think about what you're doing more than you did in Zero Dawn, where you could pretty much just brute force your way through lots of scenarios. All right, so we're going to want to kind of stealth walk down here into the grass. You can see they've already kind of spotted us, but if we hurry into the grass, we're fine. Make sure we tag all of the critters in the area so that we are aware of where they're all at. There's also another one way back that way. If I can tag it, thank you. Now, if I can actually draw him to me, I can actually lure him into a little... There we go, let's do that. Into a little silent strike. Because as long as you're in the grass, you can perform it no matter what, as long as the indicator isn't red. If it's yellow, you're fine. There we go. Okay, first one down. We'll take care of that. Search him and grab his stuff as well. Okay, I'm going to use this opportunity to move into the grass here before he whips around. We're going to set his track, which seems to be going that way, although he is probably going to flip around, but not after doing a little bit more scanning, I would assume. So just kind of move into position as he waddles over this way. Oh, and apparently my strike from above went away, so that's good. So now we are not doing stealth anymore. All right, let's do this thing. So the next thing I want to draw your attention to is melee damage. So in Horizon Zero Dawn, you were actually able to do a fair bit of damage to weaker enemies with your spear. And while you still can in this game, and that was honestly a terrible example of that because I got a perfect hit there, you still can in this game. You can't like instantly knock something down with a heavy attack in this game like you could in Zero Dawn. You have to actually charge up your spear attacks, which I did there. You can't just do a standard heavy swing and knock it down. It's not always going to work. You have to literally position yourself, charge up, and then swing. And that is only going to work with the absolute weakest of enemies in the game. Standard light melee attacks, you have to get a lot of those in, even on the weakest enemies, to do any significant damage, at least at the start. Oh, and Aloy doesn't like Varl's beard, which, I mean, I actually think he wears it quite well, so Aloy, you're wrong. Also, I think I actually missed... I did miss a valuables chest. I'm actually going to go back and grab that before we go any further. And
Light's made its way in here too.
yeah, there's another dead fox on the ground, but I want... There it is. Okay. Let's grab that first. And obviously we could do a pulse there if we so chose, but I'm just going to run up to it and grab it. Okay, chill water. That is an elemental, that is an item that has to do with the ice element in this game. Ice, or frost, I suppose, is used for weakening the armor of machines so you can deliver more damage later. We will get a weapon that actually has something to do with that element in particular very, very soon.
Against the machines.
So now let's head on inside and search all these burrowers on the way in. After vaulting over that one for some reason. Okay. And that guy has a health potion, which you can now cycle between your rocks and your health potion with the right and left buttons on the D-pad. I am not going to drink it, though, because my health is full, so I am fine.
Careful. Traps ahead.
Huh. Might be able to disarm them.
Which is very easy to do as long as you don't go up to them too hastily.
Managed to salvage some
It's
supplies.
very easy to set these off if you're not crouching.
And got more supplies.
And we get some metal shards out of that. Okay.
Another camp.
While we're here, maybe we can make some traps of our own. Might come in handy against machines.
Good idea.
But we're going to want to grab some resources before we do that. First, grab some more chill water, which is now full. I should also bring to your attention these little things right here. These dummies, you can actually take care of them with a few spear whacks. Whether or not you actually need to, I actually don't know, because I destroyed every single one here in the tutorial, as we've already come across a few. I destroyed every single one and did not get a trophy for it, so I actually don't know if they're related at all. I don't know if they're like the frickin' the animal decoys that were in the first game, but I digress. Let's grab some stuff out of these resource containers, because we're going to get some blast paste out of those, which we actually need for
Should have what I need
the
to
traps. So to craft in this game, you don't need to head all the way into the menus. You just go down into your inventory screen and hold down whatever item is selected, and then you can just craft it then and there, which we're going to craft 2 of these, and we're going to put them to use in the next area. Okay, up we go. We're going to have some fun with these, I promise, as we come across a new enemy type.
I think I see a way up.
Okay, this enemy right here, this is a Scrounger, not to be confused with a Scrapper from the first game.
Scrounger.
Now, these guys are not too difficult to deal with, but they are they're more physically close-up aggressive than something like a Scrapper is. Scrappers were a little bit more range-based, so we're going to want to highlight its track. There's actually 2 in here, so make sure you target both of them. But I am going to make my way over here, and I am actually going to place a trap right in its path. Now, these machines will not notice a difference if they come into contact with the traps. They will just kind of walk right into them because they're machines. They can't really actually, like, fully discern the difference between a blast trap and whatever else there is. So we got that. Now let's highlight this guy's track as he gets ready to turn around. I could probably silent strike him. In fact, I'm going to do that. We'll save the other blast trap, because this is really the only other enemy type I can get away with that on. And now this guy, he's going to stop right there, isn't he? There we go. Come on. Perfect. And that takes care of that.
Let's keep going now.
Very, very simple. Yeah, just leave those in their patrol pass and you'll get some good, easy damage out of that. Get some ancient chimes or some keys. Also good for selling for metal shards. Pretty much anytime you get something that's ancient, whatever, that's what it's good for. What else is it good for? Absolutely nothing, to quote the song.
Every place is different.
All right, grab a few more of that. Get some more Skybrush. And now we need to move on from here. So to get up, all we're going to want to do is go up this rubble and climb up where it's yellow, which I do appreciate. They left it a little bit more subtle in this game than they did in Zero Dawn, where it was very clearly stated. But you also are able to grapple and climb on a lot more in this game than you were in Zero Dawn. So I think they handled it a little bit better this time around. So into the next area we go.
That's a big storm picking up out there.
Yeah. And they're getting stronger. And more frequent.
So the storms, the blighted lands, the rivers and lakes choked with algae. You were born to fix all that?
Yeah. But I can only do it if I find that backup. I think we're winding our way.
Hold on, we got to take a look at this before you keep talking. All right, Zero Dawn trade agreement. We're actually going to learn a little bit about the relationship between Far Zenith and Zero Dawn. If you're still not fully grasping who these companies are, again, most of this was explained in the first game. This game is not 100% friendly in the sequel department. It does expect you to know a little bit about the first game to understand all the nuances and everything that's going on. Basically, to explain it, Zero Dawn and Far Zenith had a very strenuous, strained relationship to a degree. We know that Zero Dawn kind of crap-talked Far Zenith a little bit, at least in the first game, and knew that their project and their idea was the superior one. And we also learned in the first game how Zero Dawn went ahead and how all the subordinate functions worked and stuff like that, which is not stuff that you're going to get out of just the tutorial and the opening cutscene of this game. I promise you that. Regardless, okay. Text log, data corruption partial. High Council Executive Summary. Negotiations with representatives from Zero Dawn have concluded, and I am exceptionally pleased that we've arrived at a mutually profitable agreement. It shows that sugar usually goes down better than salt, in contrast to the less tactful recommendations of certain of our more reactionary members. In short, Far Zenith will provide a copy of the prototype Homer archive, which was already sent, 500 ectogenic chambers to be retrieved from storage at our Ninmah facility, supplementary ectogenesis research reports. In exchange, Far Zenith will receive a copy of the alpha build of the Apollo database in the weeks prior to the Odyssey's launch. By our estimates of Zero Dawn's timeline, by then it should be a near-complete repository of human knowledge. It should be noted that Dr. Sobek was very reluctant to agree to this, but I drew a line in the sand, making it clear that this was a non-negotiable term. As our faithful media representative, I will continue to run all public communications with Dr. Sobek's team while data corrupted. So to quickly explain some things here really fast, we don't know what the Homer archive is just yet. The ectogenic chambers, these are essentially cryo chambers. They're supposed to be able to suspend people in stasis for however long is needed so that they can be revived at a later time, so they won't age and whatnot. And then the Apollo database, which you kind of are already hinted at there, but the Apollo database was supposed to be a large database that basically just stored all of human history. Everything that we as people knew was all stored in there so that we could access it. However, the Apollo database was destroyed before Zero Dawn ever launched, and thus it has been lost to, well, nothing.
The tech that Far Zenith traded with Zero Dawn.
A certain person destroyed Apollo, and that is incredibly crucial to the events and the story of Horizon Zero Dawn. Otherwise, these people would have already modernized.
Looks like we've got to climb up.
All right, so let's head up this way. And actually, before we do that, we're going to kick down this ladder just in case we fall. We won't fall, but it's always good to have a way up just in case the worst happens. Make our way over here.
Falling apart.
Well, it is 1,000 years old.
At least, if not more. It's been a very, very long time.
Meeting room. That door on the other side's locked.
There's another one of those glowing things by the table.
And I'm going to hit it.
Onzu.
The Zero Dawn terraforming system, the brainchild of Dr. Elizabeth Sobek. Empowered by 9 subordinate functions, Gaia, the core of the system, is capable of advanced planetary engineering, an obvious advantage to our space colonization efforts. Operation Phase 1. Establish an asset within Project Zero Dawn. Status complete. Phase 2. The asset will secretly beamcast a complete copy of Gaia and her subordinate functions to this facility's data center. If all goes well, Zero Dawn staff will remain completely unaware of the transmission. Risks. Discovery of this operation could result in Zero Dawn withholding the already negotiated Apollo database. Special care must be taken not to alert Travis Tate, the expert hacker in charge of Hades Protocol. In addition, extreme caution must be exercised in regards to Dr. Sobek herself. As one of the world's preeminent technologists, she may have instituted unforeseen security measures. A complete assessment is attached. This concludes the executive summary.
I thought Elizabeth sent the backup here, but she didn't. Far Zenith stole Gaia.
Aloy, why does that woman look like you?
It's okay, Pearl. We look alike because we're the exact same. Genetically identical.
But she was one of the old ones. How can you be her?
Because I wasn't born. I was made. By a machine. It's why I'm motherless, why I was cast out as an infant.
I don't understand. What kind of machine can make a person?
Remember when I said the backup is like a set of instructions? It's more than that. It's called Gaia. And for a long time, she cared for the world until she had to destroy herself. So she made me to bring her back. I'm the only one who can. And this place is my last hope.
You once said the goddess spoke to you when you went into All-Mother Mountain. Was that this Gaia?
Yes, but she's not the goddess, Laurel. There isn't one.
How can you be sure? It sounds like she anointed you with a sacred task.
I've had a lot of time to figure this out. And you will too, with the focus. But for now, the reports said they were going to store the stolen copy of Gaia in the data center. So that's where we have to go. Okay?
Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything else in this room, so let's get a move on. Although...
Huh. Look at that. Aloy, over here. I found something you could use.
I'm already over here, but let's take a look.
Thanks, Varl. We should keep moving.
Okay, and the weapon that we have been given is a Frost Blast Sling. This way we're going to be able to finally apply the frost effect on enemies, which is going to come in handy here in an upcoming part. So let's continue. Keep that at the ready. I'm just going to drop to ledge and drop myself down because I'm not going to take any damage, but there is an ancient supply box. We're going to want to search real quick
We're almost back outside.
to get some chill water.
Good.
And out we go. Okay.
Look, that must be the machine.
It's heading in the same direction we're going. Great.
And there you can see it slithering away at the very end there. There's also a Scrounger down here, so we're going to want to be super careful. But we'll be able to show this effect. And you can see that the Scrounger is, in fact, weak to ice. So if I can just fire a nicely placed shot there, if it stands in it long enough, it should apply the effect. And we just shoot it a few times to take care of it. Boom.
Machine couldn't take the cold.
Very simple. Okay, so it looks like a few more people died down this way.
And a lot of acid. That big machine must have attacked as they tried to escape.
Take some things off of these people as well. You also can see we got a Scrounger power cell, which will have some sparkers in it, so we're good.
So, you said this backup is the last hope.
Yeah. All those places I've been these last few months, there were supposed to be more backups. But 1,000 years ago, a guy named Ted Faro purged them all.
Is he part of Far Zenith too?
No. He was worse.
Okay, lot to unpack there, as well as in the cutscene we got on the holoprojector in the other room. Again, stuff that is very easy to understand if you've played or know about Horizon Zero Dawn and all the characters therein. Use this to just make my way across, but Travis Tate is a very important character because he created the Hades subfunction. Hades was essentially the big villain of the first game, or at least kind of the big villain. It's a little complicated. But Travis Tate himself was not a bad guy. He was just a hacker who was good at creating machines that could destroy other machines, because the Hades subroutine's function was to delete Gaia should it make too many errors in the process of creating the world. So that was kind of his specialty, and it's why they mention him in that holoprojector. Ted Faro, he is a whole another beast that is, again, much more important to the first game. All right, up we go. We are going to run into more enemies this way.
Machines patrolling ahead.
We can tag them in the focus to keep track of
Okay, we got 1, 2, and
sneaky one.
3. So we're going to want to be very careful about how we approach this. So that guy is making a little bit of a circle around. We're going to want to keep on our arrows. And I'm going to hang out in this grass here. And we're going to just wait for this burrower to make his way back around. Once we've cleared out these machines, we will call this an episode, but this will be kind of the last one we take care of. Now, I would like to be able to shoot off a sound shell. And actually, I think once I take care of this guy, exactly what I'm going to do. So let's silent strike there. And quickly move back into... Oh, no, we're good, actually. So as soon as one of these burrowers pops up, I'm actually going to sneak over this way. I'm going to try to shoot him in the chest so we can pop off that sound shell, because... Okay, it is a very nice component to have, and of course I miss my shot immediately. So we'll just kill that sucker. Now it looks like Scrounger is just over there. Oh, out he comes. I think there was supposed to be a wall up that he would break through, but evidently that didn't happen. So let's take this thing out by knocking that off. It's going to shoot an electrical shot at us. Let's see if we can... Whoa! Not miss that. Jeez, there we go. Okay, hit that, Varl, and I'm going to give it a freeze. Oh, gosh, that thing came at me really quickly. Okay, I'm going to actually show you how... Well, maybe I won't, because it looks like this thing is dead anyway. I was going to show you guys how you're supposed to time your dodges in this game.
How to get out of here.
Oh, and I should also mention, you can also fill up your medicine pouch by holding up, and that will pull the berries from your inventory and fill that pouch up again. So, got these resources. Grab a little bit more of these berries. We also got another valuables box. But before we end this episode, I'll just explain what I was going to talk about in terms of dodging. In this game, it is almost always advisable that you dodge towards an enemy when it is trying to melee attack you. It is by far the easiest way to avoid getting hit. I know that sounds a little counterintuitive and crazy, but trust me, it is the most effective way of actually dodging things. You just need to be ready for it, obviously, which I wasn't in that instance just a minute ago. Okay, I'm going to shoot down this ladder, and we are going to call this an episode. If I can actually hit it, there we go. We're going to call this an episode because, guys, we still have quite a bit left of this tutorial, actually. So it's already been 25 minutes plus for this episode. I think we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, next episode, we're going to head further on towards the data center, try to finally get there. I don't know. We'll see. There's still a lot of ground to cover, but we will do our best. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode very, very much, and I will see you all in the next one.